Severe weather once again for the northern plains, but also for the northeast. We have multiple flash flood risks, a huge fire hazard for the west and the Rockies, and also tropical storm Erin. Good afternoon, I'm meteorologist Pew. Today is August 13th, 2025. Starting with severe weather, the Storm Prediction Center has issued a slight risk or 2 out of 5 for the northern plains, but mainly in South Dakota. And what this entails is that we have a 2% chance to see an isolated tornado, 15% chance to see winds up to 60 miles per hour, and a 5% chance to possibly see some large hail from 1 to 2 inches in diameter. For the northeast, we may have isolated cells that will produce 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. For flash flooding, we have a very broad risk, pretty much stretching all the way from the south to the east, with a slight risk or a 2 out of 4 in the Tennessee Valley, Florida Panhandle, and also in Texas. Now, when this is going to happen, starting with the northern plains in South Dakota, you may see clusters of cells around 1 p.m. Central Time, starting in central South Dakota, but the main concerning storms are going to start in Wyoming and Montana around 2 p.m. Mountain Time and travel eastward. So South Dakota, northern plains, you're going to see something around the late afternoon into evening. For the northeast, there are some places that may be already seeing some cells, but things are going to start ramping up around 3 p.m. Eastern Time, all the way from the mid-Atlantic to places like New Hampshire. For all the slight risk areas in terms of flash flooding, including the Tennessee Valley, Florida Panhandle, and Texas, you guys are seeing convection this morning. That was from yesterday, and this will start dissipating by this afternoon. But in total, today, you may see an additional 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, maybe isolated places 3 inches or more. So throughout the afternoon and evening, you may or may not see an isolated cell again. And this kind of goes along with all the other states in the south and to the northeast, where you may see isolated cells just throughout the afternoon and evening. Now for the west, we have a huge fire hazard stretching all the way north from the Washington state, all the way to the whole state of Nevada and even Wyoming. And we have a critical fire risk or 2 out of 3, mainly in Idaho. And we also have a risk for isolated dry thunderstorms from Nevada all the way to Montana and Wyoming. This afternoon and evening, we're going to have relative humidities in the teens to single digits. And we're also going to see wind speeds from 15 to 20 miles per hour and possibly wind gusts from 25 to 30 miles per hour. And with dry thunderstorms, basically that means that we're going to have elevated thunderstorms way higher than usual. And what that's going to do is, because the surface is relatively dry, any precipitation that does fall will probably evaporate before it even reaches the ground. And because evaporation is a cooling process, it produces more cooling air. But what's important about the cool air is that it's sinking air, which is going to produce more gust fronts. And in addition to that, lightning can pose a risk for fire as well. Now for the tropics, we're still keeping an eye on tropical storm Erin, but thankfully the models are suggesting that she is moving a little bit more north, which is moving away from Puerto Rico, so that's good. But also, the more north she goes, the more chances that the westerly winds, by the time she reaches closer to the east coast, she's going to move towards the east. She's still predicted to be a major hurricane or category 3 or higher by Sunday, and still by next week we'll have a much clearer idea of what her path is going to be for the east coast.